The construction of the Dyson frame is finally underway, and planet-side construction of frame materials is hot on its heels. First stop, Alpha Andromedae 2 to grab some key components, and we might visit a black hole or neutron star today. Maybe. And it won't take nearly as much effort. Hello, Legion, this is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Dyson Sphere Program in our Alpha Andromedae series. So, speaking of Alpha Andromedae, we're going to head straight to the home star of this cluster. Tempted to make a really bad dated joke right now, but I'm not going to. And we're going to grab some of the components that we need to make chemical plants. Pretty basic components. The more advanced components are going to take a little bit more effort, but it looks like I have at least some of these handy. Enough to make, yeah, I have enough of these handy to make several advanced chemical labs, and I will be able to return to Gakrux and make even more. So we laid out almost everything that we needed in the last episode for the frame materials to be in place. Almost everything we need. It's just ready. So it's just a matter of getting what we need to make these chemical plants, since we didn't have it on hand, and then we can get those resources going. Now, of course, we're not going to make frame materials in chemical labs. We will make carbon nanotubes in chemical labs, and then we will send the carbon nanotubes to the buildings that are already set up to produce frame materials. But first things first, right? And then, of course, once we have more of those readily available, it will be easy, much easier, in fact, to quickly build more rocket launchers on top of what I already have. So let me take another look at the hydrogen situation here, because we have noticed that, yeah, we are full up on hydrogen here. We are definitely out of gas as well, although it does seem like at least part of the apparatus is functioning, just with the amount of oil that's coming in. When I say we're out of gas, what I really mean is that we're out of oil. We have oil coming in, but it's no longer backing up. And it's getting split in these two different directions. Do I have a filter set up there? No, I do not. I don't think it's actually possible to set up filters on those kinds of containers, although that would be quite handy if you could. I'm pretty sure I've already brought that up once or twice. So, let's see. In order to make chemical plants, we need a couple of things, all of which are going to be readily accessible in the next few moments. Let me go ahead and put some things away here so that I can focus. On just the things that I need to have handy, as much as possible. Yeah, I've got some small carrier rockets here too. Oh yeah, that's from when I was just deleting lines. Okay. Good to know. Alright, so this is clearing up, actually, like a ton of space. There we go. And I can probably put a few more of these in. Not that many, though. Notice that these just take forever to burn, and it's glorious. I love everything about it. Alright, chemical plants will require steel, glass, there we go. And then steel, we have plenty. Alright, so I can make 10 out of the gate with just the resources that I picked up. And of course, I have the ability to make more quite easily. So let's go ahead and that's 50 there that I've queued up. So that's an improvement. And now all I need is some titanium glass, which I have plenty of. The question is, do I need to grab it here? Wait, where am I exporting titanium glass again? I thought it was here. Oh yeah, it's over here. Now you can tell we have plenty of titanium glass available right now because of just the sheer amount that's sitting here waiting to be exported. So that's a really good sign. And this gives us the ability to build 8 of those. Now I don't... Hang on. Yeah, I've got plenty more of these right here. So that is easily handled. But now I need more of these, obviously. So the question is, do I have enough of these goods? I probably don't. I probably need to grab strange matter from somewhere. But I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing right now. I just need to wait for the chemical plants to finish building, and I'll be good to go. I want to make sure that I leave this planet, though, with everything that I need, and I don't know that I have the ability to verify exactly how much is going to be required in the time that it's going to take. By the time I did the math, these would be done building, and I could just notice what I needed. So it does look like I'm going to need more of these, which is fine. Hang on, what are you out of? Yeah, see, we're out of particle containers, and this is why I joked about probably going to visit a black hole or a neutron star today. Well, while we're waiting, because I might need to go to another world to get some of those. Those are almost done building, that's good. Yeah, I might need to actually head back to Gakrux 1. While we're waiting, let's look at something else. Because warpers can be built one of two ways. We talked about this much earlier in the series, but I haven't implemented it. It's not something I've ever done before because of something that I hadn't realized. So very, very important point for newer players to make sure they understand. Again, don't follow my example in this series because I haven't done it yet, and I should have. But I learned that there is actually a key difference between these two recipes that is not super obvious. When you make warpers using graviton lenses, which, by the way, graviton lenses are a key component for the special recipe of the warper, because graviton lenses are a key component for the gravity matrix. So the special recipe is that you don't use the standard recipe, which uses graviton lenses, for a 1-to-1 conversion ratio, but just look at this tooltip. Look at the bottom. When you use a single graviton matrix to make warpers, you actually produce 8, which means you produce warpers much more efficiently and consume lenses much less frequently, which is, quite handy. So I'm not seeing, I do have tons of green cubes here, so I suppose what I should do is just go ahead and feed these over right now. Just get it done, And I'm not going to change the apparatus at all. I think what I'm going to do is, we have these set up to run warpers in that direction. We have a huge backup of them here right now, and I want to make sure it stays that way. But let's delete these sorters, the ones pulling from this line. And now none of these lenses, when strange matter is made, which again, we're going to need to visit a black hole or the black hole or the neutron star to get that fixed. None of those lenses will be a problem anymore. So let's go ahead and have a feed line coming in here. There's a certain contingent in the comment section that's going crazy right now that I'm finally doing this. This is way late, but it will help with the lenses situation. It's just so much more efficient. And I had never, ever, ever, ever noticed the 8 before. So when I was looking, I talked about this earlier in the series, so this is a repeat bit of commentary. Okay, what's the best place to snag these? Looks like here. You know what? Let's get them running that way, and then I'll just bring them out here. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but does it need to be? No, it doesn't. Let's just have these elevate up to the proper level to where they can just climb over the top here. And go right over the top there. Nice and quick. And then what they'll do is they'll come here, come over, and then we'll have some uniformity here. Hang on, let's bring these down like so. That looks nice. And now we just need to bring them over. Actually, it might be beneficial to do this. Alright, now I can't bring it straight straight down here, but I might be able to do... Yeah, this will work. We'll have to rearrange some sorters very quickly, but that's easily done. Now let's make sure, first of all, that these outputs... Oh wait, hang on. Did I feed these in the right line? No, I didn't. Oh, damn it. Stop. This is the complete wrong line. I was like, why are they going that way? That doesn't make any sense. They don't need to go that way. Where did they just filter to? Oh, that's freaking funny. Look at this. Alright, I can go ahead and empty the line out here. It won't take too long, because they weren't running for that long. But that's obnoxious. They just started pouring out and going back down this way. That was the complete wrong line, Hadrian. Good job. Real good job. You did a good job. That was a stroke of genius. Selecting these lines can be the absolute worst. Alright, I can go ahead and empty this out at least. Alright, good. Now there are still a few left. Are you going to let me point to that, or are you just going to be a punk? Yeah, I'm just going to delete it that way. Alright, so that line will bring warpers back. Now let's actually hook this up correctly. So we actually need to just rebuild that as it was. Like so. And we're good to go. And then this one is much easier to deal with than I gave it credit for. Boom. That's a little bit ugly, but you know what? Yeah, we're not going to stand for that. We're not going to let that happen. I know how to rotate the camera game. I don't know why you're telling me that. Alright, and now we just have to change the recipe to make warpers using this much more effective method. And you can tell the box here has already emptied out, which is pretty interesting. Now, storage here was completely full, so we're fine. But that's fascinating that it emptied out that fast. Okay, so now we have all, literally all, of the chemical plants that we need. Chemical plants, where are you? There you are. Yeah, I need additional strange matter here if I'm going to make this work. So I probably just need to go back. So tell you what, let's go ahead and drop some of those green cubes back in storage. There's not a need for all of them to be in my inventory. Believe it or not, there's not a need. Also, I have some extra deuterium fuel cells, and I can probably offload those because I no longer need them routinely. Yeah, because we're outputting a ton. Come on, game. We're outputting a ton of them here. Yeah, see, I can just feed them in there, and they're sitting in the extra storage areas of those power plants, but at least they're not in my inventory anymore, which is nice. Okay, so now that we have those, what do you think? Anything else that I need here? Probably not right away. Should be good to go. Yeah, let's head back to Gakrux 1, first of all. And then we're going to look into getting some additional unipolar magnets exporting. And we'll probably go to the neutron star to do it. Alright, Gakrux, where are you? There you are. 17.75 light years away. Let's go. Notice research has not hit a snag in a while. We're moving at a very nice pace research-wise. So I can't complain there. So the key step that's about to occur here is that we'll finally be able to build larger quantities of rocket launchers at once. We have the capacity to launch a lot more rockets than we're currently launching and get the Dyson frame building that much faster. Now, this is the Alpha Andromedae Dyson swarm, but we are approaching the Gakrux Dyson swarm. Right now, it's still showing 6.86, so we haven't seen a huge increase in energy output yet. As I recall, the frame does provide energy, but it really starts providing more energy when you start filling in the panes of the frame. So that's worth keeping in mind. There's Gakrux 1. Such a productive planet, although it can be much more productive in the end. Okay. So we built either up here or at the other pole. Yep, other pole. Notice we have plenty of sails now. That's fantastic. We also are starting to build up a backstock of these. That's very good to see. That's in part because we, I think, don't have that many of the frame materials. But we're about to fix that, aren't we? We're about to fix that. We're about to fix it very, very effectively, I dare say. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get that ready. Where do we have those stored right now? I think they're just being imported from... Yeah. So they're being imported to the other pole. These are going to need to get sent a good ways, which is fine. So a couple different ways I could handle that. I could have them sent manually by just using a conveyor belt, or even more satisfactorily, we can do this. Now what I'll do is I'll set up the Dyson frame. Now this is going to be, I'm not going to do any importing here, but it will be a local supply. And we already have logistics drones, so they will be able to fly to the other pole and get stuff set up. So I want to make sure it's already set for remote demand, or local demand, up here, so that this thing can function immediately. Alright, where are we importing frame materials? Right here. Yeah, you can tell, we're actually, that's interesting, we don't have a lot of processors right now. We'll need to take a look at that. But let's go ahead and set this to local demand. Hydrogen-wise, we're bringing about as much hydrogen in right now as we possibly can, which is interesting. Alright, so now I need to build more of these, and that requires, this is what I need the strange matter for. Now, the strange matter, I may actually, yeah, strange matter I need to travel to Alrami for that. Forgot about that. For whatever reason, wait, do I have it? No. I don't have strange matter producing here. I have no reason to produce it here, do I? Yeah, so there's no strange matter here. Need to go to Alrami. Let's get that done. And there should be a reasonable quantity of it here for me to just build the rest of these quantum chemical plants. Now I have... Well, you know what? Hang on. No, turn around. I've got 30. How many do I need? You know, 30 is enough. I can get this thing humming, and I'll go back later. I forgot I'd already built 30. I had already built 30. Excuse me. It is such a strange thing to... It's cool. It just takes work and practice to come back to something like content creation on YouTube after a couple of years away, especially when it was a very stressful couple of years for me and for us all, because there are just vocal habits that I used to have that I don't currently have that I'm getting back. Some of them just as simple as, you know, enunciation into a microphone. And some of it has to do, I think, with just my setup. with my mic monitoring, to be completely honest. But anyway, that's a little bit too technical. It's just interesting because I'll find myself correcting little, like, tiny misspeakings that are really not significant in the grand scheme, but that I notice because I didn't used to do them, you know? Alright, so, yeah, here we go. And we've already got this line set up. I forgot about that. So, we can just get chemical plants set up here. Oh, perfect. The spacing on that worked out amazingly. I was a little bit worried. Let's start with, let's see. Yeah, let's start with 8. So that's 10 altogether. And we will have this come all the way here. And then this go all the way back the other way. And then I'm going to use that trick that I figured out in the last episode that was so beautiful, which is we are just going to put the sorters here that we need. Also, can I go ahead? I'm going to use these this time. Let's get some of our friends powered here. Perfect. And with that, what I should be able to do... Yep. I don't know what other object you claim I'm colliding with. Oh, I see what the problem is. Don't quite have these in the right spot. Fair enough. Alright, so now we're producing carbon nanotubes. And why are you not functioning? Oh, I didn't bring the titanium alloys over yet. That's... Did I not? Oh, I just didn't bring them all the way. Hello. Oopsie. Don't know how I missed that. And there we go. Alright. Yeah, I saw them going by on the line. I was like, well, we have them. What's the problem here? What are we waiting on? And so now we should see... Yep. You can see them being flown off. That's good to see. And so as a consequence of that, we should now be able to build far more. Wouldn't it be great if you could just snatch some off of these transports? Transport's already coming back. Alright, I want to make sure that these outputs are all functioning nominally. Yeah. These are all already on the way, which is great to see. Alright, yeah, these are all... I'm going to grab some of these off the line. Let's say... Alright, about 300 should be good. And with that, yep, I can do 10 more rocket launchers. Just like that. Now, do I have any more frame materials? Or did I just use them all? Looks like I just used all of them. Which is fine. But that's 10 more rocket launchers that we can build right now. Now, power-wise, how we doing? We're completely fine. We've been launching rockets pretty sustainably. So what I can now do... Because I think I already have 10 of these down, if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I do. So now, very nicely, I can go ahead and just make a blueprint. We're going to take the sorter. I'm probably going to remove some stuff from this blueprint, because the blueprint's going to want to include this stuff, and I'm going to want to say no to that. I don't want any of that, but I do want the sorter. There we go. So let's go ahead and make this our rocket launcher blueprint. Oh, caps lock. Happens all the time in this game, because caps lock is the warp key. this needs to have no spaces. Okay. Now it actually looks like the first one is not going to be daisy chained properly, which is fine. So let's head over there and get those built. We already have them building in our inventory, which is quite nice. But now I just need to get that daisy chained. There we go. Oh, and you know what I didn't include? I did not include these. So how many guns need to be between 1, 2, 3, 4? Yep, I can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I should have included these in the blueprint. That's a shame. And then I need to have the... yeah. The occasional assistance from one of those. Just at the gaps. Alright, and they should all now start daisy chaining even more effectively, so we just doubled our rocket launching capacity, and we also need more power on this planet now, which I was expecting. Alright, we have some artificial suns here, we just need to increase the rate at which they are creating power for us. So this is going to be relatively easily done. Now, is that the right distance? I think it is. Perfect. Alright, so now we are back to having a power surplus. We are producing now 7 gigawatts. Starting to see a slight uptick in the amount of energy that is being produced from this. But remember, we will be able to do more as we build more of those launch sites. I still have one more in my inventory that I could put down. But before I do anything else, for the latter minutes of this episode, we are going to head in that direction right there. We're literally going where we need to right now. So our neutron star is far and away like the best source that we have in our entire system for unipolar magnets. The system that is, or the one planet around the black hole, doesn't have a lot of them. It has some, but not a lot. And I do also need to check on processors because that empty supply line was somewhat troublesome. So notice how much easier it is to make this long trek out to the neutron star. This was something that used to require us earlier in the series to take a break at NSV. Now, Gakrux is actually quite close to the planet that we were kind of stopping at. But this is the reason that it takes a while. See these transport ships? You might not even be able to see them because they're so small. They're little blips on the map, and YouTube compression might be blurring them out. But it's a long way. We need to increase the number of transports that are operating. But I have everything I need in my inventory to do that. So let's get it done. Be nice to be back here. It's been, God, at least 10 or 20 episodes, it feels like. Alright, so we're here. We have this titanium that we're producing here, which is very interesting. Because we have so much of it, I think it was worthwhile just to work on that. Alright, I'm not going to do a second transport on the other pole. I don't think that's necessary. Although, it really doesn't matter where I put it. Yeah, so it looks like there's still plenty in these veins. It's just a matter of how much can be reliably sent. Yeah, that's what it is. There's plenty in these veins. And it's also... this particular transport is offloading iron as well. So if we have a second tower, which I'm going to put down right now, and put it right there. How are we doing on power here? Yeah, we're going to be completely fine. Let's get some of those installed. And then secondly, let's go ahead and run some warpers. Hello. All right, thankfully we can just plop one of these down in between. And now that's fully powered. It's going to take, for a moment, it's going to seem like it's really drawing a ton of power. But grand scheme, it's fine. So now, very straightforwardly, what I can do here, I can run a splitter. And then we'll have this resource set up for remote supply. And 10 more ships capable of shuttling it around. And truth be told, we have so much of this resource available that there's a good argument for doing what I just did another time. And you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and build one more of those. I'm going to move this iron production somewhat because it would just hurt my soul a little bit. To not have this be uniform visually. Now, can I copy you? If I copy paste, well, I've never done that before. But if I copy paste you, will you have the same stuff set up? You do. Oh, that's perfect. I mean, that was my guess. It makes perfect sense that you would allow that. All right, so we'll go ahead and put down a satellite substation there. And we'll pop down some ships there. And then just one thing I need to do. We're going to run some warpers here as well. Now recall that we are making warpers much more effectively now, finally. Alright, this line is going to be a little bit more of a pain. But we'll run it that way. Alright, and so now what I can do here is I can say, I want you to output like that. And then we'll bring you around the side here. So this should more than completely solve the supply rate issues that we've seen for this resource. It does probably mean that it's going to get mined faster, as you can imagine. Now, one thing that's happening here that I think I want to go ahead and deal with, these are piled because of the technology upgrades that I've done, but we have a couple of different lines contributing here. And if I'm smart about this, I can actually, I think, do a better job of getting these set up. So let's put the splitter there. Let's put a piler here and a piler here. We're going to run the piler from the first line there into the splitter, out the other side. We will run this resource output here into the piler, into the splitter, and then we will connect you power-wise. And voila. So that should make it a little bit easier for large quantities to move on this line and to saturate all three of these effectively. I'm hoping that I don't have to do more, but it seems like we've got a pretty good number of those already going. Now let's take a look at our power situation. We're currently consuming a lot more power than we are producing. So the question is, best way to deal with that. This is a solar planet. We have mostly wind that we've set up here, but the interesting thing is with this being a solar planet... Wait, did I read that right? Yeah. Why did I do wind here? Was it just because it's what I had at the time? That must have been the explanation. That's a little bit bonkers, but this is going to be an easy fix. I'm going to do a quick, couple of belts, and then we'll wrap up the episode. And this is going to make a huge difference with the rate of production that we're dealing with at the moment, specifically with regard to particle containers. All right, so let's switch the anchor position, and I'm going to do a... I'll do a double row. And this will more than solve our energy problems without having to do much else. Because this is already... They're all going to be connected just by virtue of where I'm building them. Oh wow, those actually all built. I wasn't expecting that. Are those unipolar magnets? Those are. A unipolar magnet deposit that I'm not even mining yet. So that's another thing that I could do to increase the rate at which they're coming in, to make sure that I'm exporting them at the maximum possible rate. Here's another deposit of unipolar magnets. Yeah, so that's definitely something I could do as well. We are almost done. Now I just have to make my way around the planet and get those built. And the nice thing about that is it will give me a chance, as I make my way around, to build those mines. Yeah, so obviously the panels that we're building right now are not helping, which is to be expected. Yeah, this is a massive deposit of unipolar veins. Of unipolar magnets, rather. So what I can do is delete that wind turbine. I can cover a good amount of these like that. And then I'm going to do something I haven't normally done with this series. First of all, I'm going to crank the gathering speed on this up to 300%. And this is set as a supply. I'm going to go put some of my logistics bots in those towers, and they can come get it from these mines. I haven't used that a lot, but it's the more efficient thing time-wise for me to do right now. I do enjoy my conveyor belts, and that ain't gonna change. Okay, so let's delete that, and let's see if we can swing a... We can. I wish it was this easy to get the coal mined back on my other planet. That's interesting. All right, let's build you there. Same thing, we're going to crank the mining speed up to 300%, and then we're going to finish the solar belt here. Closing in on the 40-minute mark for this episode, so I do need to wrap this one up. It's interesting that I have these here. I'm going to delete them. I don't need them anymore. I no longer need a charge point here. So let's head up here, finish up this solar... How am I looking? Yeah, power-wise, I'm in much better shape. So I just need to get the towers set up with the appropriate bots, which I already have in my inventory. Won't even take that long. And then they can start grabbing those additional resources. Yeah, so they're gonna go grab those more or less immediately. Or will they? Oh, you know what? I have to set it to local demand. Alright, let's set all 3 to local demand. And they went a little crazy for a minute because there were 3 different stations, but now they're actually going to get those resources. That's a good flow of those supply bots. So now we should have a lot more of those resources available. For now, I'm going to stop this one here. Now that these are flowing, these guys, where are you? Particle containers will be produced much more regularly on all worlds where they are required, which will help with our production of strange matter. It'll help with our production of lenses, because lenses require strange matter. And also because we've finally improved space warpers, we won't need as many lenses to make space warpers anymore. They still are needed, but again, this new recipe allows us to make 8 warpers as opposed to just 1. So we're not going to be consuming as many lenses to get our warpers nice and fully stocked. So that's going to be very useful as well. But then the very next thing I need to do is figure out what's going on with processors and then just continue building up our rocket launchers in the Gakrux system. Let's take a quick look at Gakrux and see how it's doing. We're up to 7.33 gigawatts, and the frame is coming along. This is the rate at which we're launching rockets, which is pretty good, but that's just 20 launchers. We're going to increase that by an order of magnitude or more. So it's going to go faster in the coming episodes. And of course, this is going to be a full sphere before we're done with the series, but we're off to a great start. And another thing we're going to be able to do, as I've mentioned in the past few episodes, since this has finally been underway, is I can work on actually getting photons from the Dyson swarm and the Dyson sphere here, because this is much more productive at this point than the one we have in Alrami. We're still going to use Alrami, but this one is just coming along a lot better. So I'm really happy with the progress that I'm seeing, and we're going to keep pushing and filling in gaps as well in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. If it's not your first time or even your second, look for the join button to access unique emotes, badges, and additional perks. New episodes are coming out every day at noon, US Eastern Time, and comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.